on, everybody? It's Dyke and Dan here, back with another Epic 7 video for you guys. So today we're going to be talking about the patch that's coming out for this week. More so along the lines of the Powder Knowledge Shop update. So just to let you guys know, like, what artifacts look good and what you may consider for your teams and stuff like that. Alright, so let's go and take a look. So, as far as what we got Sigurd Scythe, Elbris Ritual Sword, Arnell, Celestine, Elbris, Aurius, Caladria, and Rosa Hargana. These are all pretty good artifacts in their own way, and we're going to talk about every single one of them to see exactly what they could bring to the table for your team comps. So, Sigurd Scythe. When a caster's health is less than 50%, increase attack by 25% and absorbs 50% of the damage dealt as health. This artifact, guys, is amazing for tank warriors. It is a artifact used mainly for like sustainability. It's not really good on squishy tanks though. So if you got like a warrior tank like say Assassin's Cartridge or like a Ravi or something to put in the front, this would go very well with one of them. As far as content goes, this could work in PvP and PvE. It's a really good artifact, guys. So you put it on them. Like I said, as long as they're not a squishy, not tank, but a squishy warrior. All right. Next artifact, Elbris Ritual Sword. So at max, it's 20% chance to counterattack when an ally is attacked. This artifact is really good for tanks that like to use their S1s a lot. Mainly because, you know, when you do a counterattack, it's going to be the S1. So any tank that has really good S1s, they got like a debuff on it, or you know, some tanks do some pretty good damage, or has like you know, like a chance or something. Then definitely this artifact is really good for that. This artifact is good for PvP and PvE, really. Yeah, the thing I don't think it does though is I don't believe it like stacks with counter sets. I believe, like, yeah, it doesn't increase this chance if you put like a counter set on. Those are like two different separate things. So don't think you put this on and then you have a counter set and no, you're boosting the chance of this happening. Nah, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But yeah, this is still a good artifact for tanks that have a really good S1. You will want to put it on them. All right, R and L. This artifact is like the talk of the town. Some people love it. Some people don't think it's that good. I personally think it's really good. It's a 20% chance to be granted an extra turn at the end of the turn. Can be activated once per turn. So this artifact has a bit of controversy around it because some people don't like that it's pretty. I get where people are coming from. It is a risky artifact to use in PvP, mainly because it is a low proc chance. But if you do get it on like certain units, then it could potentially be like game over if you hit that. This artifact also is like really good on like certain characters that like really needs this, like Karen. She really needs this. Like Arnell with like 100% crit chance. Like always recommend it for like if you're building a Karen for comps and stuff like that, especially for like if you're using it for like Wyvern or something. Yeah, like I said, this is good for like turn loop characters. Karen's one of them. Kali is another. Characters like that. I use it for my Siren. I won Wyvern with Siren, and I use RNL with that. Just to get her more debuffs on it. For when I'm like running my Wyvern 9 and 10. So. All right. Next is Celestine. So. It says heals the allies with the lowest health by 16% when using a basic skill. So yeah, this is really good for Soul Weavers who use S1 a lot. So if you got a Soul Weaver that's using S1 a lot, this is a great artifact for them, for Soul Weavers. Not much to be said about it, really, except for just that. You know, if you got a healer that's using that, I mean, they use S1s a lot, and yeah, this is perfect for them. Yeah, this is a really good artifact. A lot of people like it. Usually people, I think, use it for like sub healers. Use it like for like a sub healer artifact. But yeah. Alright, so now we're moving on to some of the 4 stars. First up is Elbris. So as health decreases, attack and speed increase by up to 50% when this is at max. This artifact I think is pretty good. I think it's pretty decent. It's a decent artifact for, once again, tanky warriors. It's mainly used in PvP. You can use it in PvE. I actually use it in PvE. I use it on Assassin's Cartridge. I don't have Sigurd Scythe. He's running a the Abyss set, and I don't have Sigurd Scythe, so right now I'm just running this. So when Sigurd Scythe come out, me personally, I'm definitely probably looking into getting Sigurd Scythe. That's one of the artifacts I do want. I do have Arnell, a couple others that are on this list as well. But this artifact is pretty good. Like I said, tanky warriors that you put in the front. Don't want them to be squishy, because this is something that is utilized when their health is low, and you know, a squishy warrior wouldn't be able to utilize it at the best with their health being low. You want to get them back up top real quick. So yeah, I mean, Cartridge, he can take the beating, plus he has the miss, so it's like perfect for a warrior like him, or Ravi, who has like self-healing to, you know, negate some of the beating that she's taking. Alright, Aurius. This artifact, guys, it is an amazing artifact. This artifact is great for PvP and PvP. Is one of the most talked about knight artifacts there is. It literally, oh sorry, but yeah, it literally reduces damage for everyone but the artifact holder. So let's read this. Increases the defense of allies by 10% and takes 20% of the damage suffered by them. Does not overlap with an artifact, providing the same effect. So there's an artifact that does like the same thing, it does not overlap. But yeah, like I said, it's great for PvP and PvE, and it reduces all the damage except for to the holder. Now, one thing to be noticed when you do use this artifact is because the person who's in the front is taking so much of a beating, that 20% can add up. So don't think just because you're running this artifact you can like surround them with a bunch of squishy units. You know, if you have some units that are like a mage or something, or just anybody squishy on the team that's eating tons of damage, then the damage can really stack up really fast on your tank. Even if they do have like high health or defense, you know, it could be very devastating. So you want to make sure you balance it out right. You don't want a team that just gets eaten up, because if you're taking tons of like crit damage, then all that damage is definitely going to go to them, that 20%, which, like I said, definitely adds up, especially if it's AoE damage and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind when you're using the artifact. Alright, and then we have Caladra. So this artifact says if the enemy is debuffed, damage dealt increased by 30%. This artifact is one of the best artifacts, personally, I think, for mages. It leads to some insane damage. This artifact works well in PvE and PvP. The one thing you do gotta take notice of again is you do have to make sure that your team is like speed sync comp, because you want your debuffer to go first. So after the opponent is debuffed, then you can hit with the crazy damage from your mage. So you want your team comp to be speed synced with that in mind. But as long as you have that team comp set in stone, and you're pretty much set. Like I said, it does crazy damage. You run this on like any mage that does like nice single target damage. I don't know if it does AoE damage. It probably does AoE damage as well. It doesn't say otherwise. That I'm not sure. But I know for single target damage, big single target damage hitter. I know a lot of people I've seen use it for like Aether, and I've seen Aether do crazy damage. Guided Aether, not a regular Aether. Soul Weaver. But yeah, you know, do crazy damage with this artifact. So it's definitely possible to get some good numbers with this if you have this artifact. So if you're thinking about picking up a mage, or you got a mage that you're willing to use, this is the artifact for you. Alright, and last but not least on the list for today is Rosa Hargana. This artifact says increase duel chance by 14% and increase attack by 30% when it's not the caster's turn. So once again, another great artifact for archers, but this one for archers that really rely on unity, or for like S1 effects, specifically like like Bologna, or you know, one that has good DPS on their S1 as well. This artifact is great for PvP. I mean PvE. It can be risky, like RNL, for PvP because of the low proc chances on it, 14%. But if you do get that 14% chance, that's a huge attack bonus to that. And like I said, if you're using like a Bologna or something who like need those stacks, and you're just gaining more stats, you run in a Unity set on top of her, along with this, that's a lot of dual chance for her, which is really good. So basically, you got like you can basically have like the chances of an RNL if you run like Unity set along with, you know, an artifact maxed out like this. So you get some really good numbers, especially if you're hitting those procs well. So yeah, guys, these are the artifacts that are coming. Like I said, they're all really good in their own way. Some are good in PvP, some good in PvE, some good or both. Some are amazing. If you really don't know which ones to get, you're really thinking, just think about like what characters you have, what you're trying to do with your team comps, what do you really need at the moment. You know, the 180 ones are definitely a little harder to get rather than the 60 ones. If you're going to get one of the 60 ones, if I had to give one for like each one for you to get, I would personally say probably Aurius, because I think Aurius is, out of the list that I see, I think Aurius may be the best. It's the most like, I don't know, I think for defense teams this is like one of the best you can possibly use, just to negate a whole bunch of damage. And for the 5-star, that's a little hard, but I personally will probably say Sigurd Scythe, mainly because if you picked up Rod last time, and you, like I said, Celestine is really for your like sub healers. RNL is really good, but some people say it's risky, and I do see the risky downsides to that. However, you do have characters that rely on that heavily, like a Karen, and you want to get that, then by all means get that. Elbris storage is really good for tanks that have S1s, but that's so specific to those type of tanks. We are really good S1s. Warrior tanks though, that aren't squishy. For some reason, I don't know. I feel like I have more warrior tanks than like a lot of other units in the game. So I just feel like those are a little easier to come by. So I personally would pick up Sigurd Scythe. Me personally, but like I said, it's totally up to you guys and whatever your team comps need. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. If you guys like what I had to say, definitely appreciate it. Drop me a like, subscribe. Greatly appreciate that, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.